Every sunrise is a reminder that no matter what happened yesterday, today is a new beginning. It's a blank canvas, a fresh chapter, full of possibilities and opportunities. Make the most of the time you have and paint the picture you want the world to see. Why, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of our hardcore world. Today I would like to start building an industrial district for things like wood and iron, as I'm getting tired of mining it manually. I also want to continue to expand the village by building a couple of more barns for the rest of our animals, like our sheep and our pigs, expand our crop farm, as well as start building the palisade wall. I'm also going to need to start looking into block pallets for the pathways in the village, which I think might wind up being a mixture of packed mud and coarse dirt. Problem is, I have yet to find a mangrove swamp, and judging by the surrounding area, that may very well be a long way away. So our best bet, at least in the short term, is to build a mud farm. I am, however, regardless, going to need to gather some redstone components first, as I don't really have that many at the moment. And we're not going to need a terribly large amount, but I'm going to gather a decent amount anyway, right now, as I don't really want to keep running around for it, especially if I only need the odd piece here or there. So I'm going to gather the necessary materials, and then I'll see you when that's done. Yeah, right. Now that we got some materials together, we could start work on the iron farm, which I'm gonna build at spawn, so it should stay loaded whenever we are, or wherever we are. Though since Mojang reduced the size of the spawn chunks down to a 3x3, I hope this still works. Otherwise, I might have to start looking into chunk loaders. We're also gonna have to get some villagers over here, but there's a village not too far from here that we passed by on episode 1 when we were looking for a home. So I'm gonna go over there and ask for volunteers and bring them back here. And then we can start putting it together and having a place for them. Alright? Alright, so we got our villagers. Time to start putting the farm together. I'm using a design by Waddles with some slight modifications for bulk storage and whatnot. But yeah, the link for that is in the description. And now enjoy the time lapse. I didn't know oak fences burned, so I had to go back to the nether, get some warped wood so we didn't have to burn any of that. As you can see, we are producing some iron golems. Um, I didn't know if he would actually work to scare them in a minecart, but I guess it does. But I did make, I don't know if he did it, but I did make some changes of my own. Aside from the wider base, just more for it. Yes, I didn't know, I don't know if he did it. So, more or less going based on an older video that he did. But I did decide to put it in a little sorting system and an auto crafter. Just basically taking the poppies and turning them into bone meal because, well, they're not really good for much else. That just comes down here, which you just basically have hooked up to a comparator with a book that's telling it to only power up on level 9. When that gets full, it just sends a pulse, crafts it into a block, stuffs it in the chest. Yeah, it seems to produce a decent amount. Upside is hopefully, I do believe, this end does hang off into this back chunk a little bit. So I am hoping that this chunk's actually loaded along with these two. Yeah, I'm not really sure how these new spawn chunk rules work. I'm still kind of working on the mentality that you get like, is it 16 or 19 chunks? Anyway, way more than I've ever used. But yeah, we'll check in on this, and for now we'll just let it run. There's a couple of other farms I want to build over here, more or less just so that they're out of the way, and to a certain extent gives us a reason to come over here and not forget about this. I want to do kind of an AFK tree farm. It is for the most part, and not going off my design. I gotta look up as to who it was, but if so, I'll leave. If I find it, I'll let you. I'll put it in the description, maybe even a little screenshot of it. It took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but at the same time too, we were kind of starting from scratch with no materials, no redstone, so that did take a little bit to get together. We'll start working on this tree farm. It doesn't have to be in these loaded chunks. If this works, I think I might be able to, because I think they're going to be 19 blocks, so I might be able to actually put one more output for iron golems on this and this chunk to feed into that same hopper. In which case, if I could do that, that'd be great. But either way, I need the tree farm. So I'm going to, like I said, I'll build it probably right about here, just because it's kind of convenient. It's already fairly flattened out. So I'll get to work on that and enjoy the show. Now we got our AFK Tree Farm all together. It's does kind of rely on TNT duping, but I don't have the time personally to mine it by TNT or to collect all the TNT by hand and refill it and all of that. I would imagine there's only one change you'd have to make, which would be up there, but so the design of this was actually, I guess, was by ENX04, but I followed a tutorial by the name of Voltrox. Either way, it's fairly simple to use. All you basically do, you turn on your lever to start the farm to allow the TNT to come down. Pick whatever sapling it is that you want. In our case, we're going to start out with oak. Fill up the rest of your inventory, except for one slot. Hold on, that's a little loud. Let me turn that down. grab ourselves some bone meal, turn on our little bone meal dispenser, and just hang out here. Bone meal our tree. Just hold the left click, or right click, I mean. It'll eventually, should eventually, okay, I don't know why that's not doing that. I may have just broken it. Clearly repairs need to be made. Alrighty. There, so I figured out what the problem was. A reasonable person should probably pay close attention to the tutorial, because it wasn't I mean, I guess it was clear, but I didn't really look at it. I had the timings on these repeaters messed up. This one was just basically a repeater just set the standard, and this one was a repeater set to 3. What I had messed up was I had them both to 3. So I guess that was changing the timings of how it was coming out. So again, the proper lesson to learn here is to really pay close attention to tutorials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to AFK this for a little bit, get ourselves some decent amount of wood for now. And I think for whatever reason, so far it seems to be the problem with our iron farm is this one villager. He's not reacting to anything. But I don't know why. Might have to go up and give him a punch to the face or something. It's like he just froze up, but I don't know how to fix that. Other than just replacing the villager, which is going to be a pain. Especially now that there's a roof on it. But I'm sure we'll figure it out. One way or another. If that's what I gotta do, that's what I gotta do. Yeah, let me get some of this lumber together, and then I'll worry about fixing an iron farm. And then I'll check back in with you once I get some lumber but whatnot back together. Alright? Alright, now that we got our iron farm and our tree farm sorted out, we need to start getting things together for making our pathways. So, I think what I'm gonna do is build a mud farm. But I'm gonna do that here, since we don't really need it to be automated. And I think we can cover it up with a nice little building that's gonna kind of match our style here. So I think you're gonna wind up putting that probably somewhere over here, this general area, towards the edge. So when we're all done here, and we're gonna start putting our walls up, I think near this, ending our, at least extending our village to this part of the ravine. So I thought about filling this in, but I think we can actually pretty this up a little bit. It'd be a nice little feature to have. Upside about the farm is that we can also use the same thing to make clay. It's basically same design, just with the addition of dripstone. Which I gotta see if I have enough. I might actually have to get some, but either way, I'll put it together. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'll get back to you when that's done. And well, for then, I guess you can just enjoy the show. mud farm altogether. I guess I'll show you how it works. It's fairly simple. It also does clay because of the dripstone. But yeah, let me clear out some of this and I'll show you how this works. Now, I might have a few, I don't have a whole lot of glass bottles, but essentially the bottles get fed into this dispenser, which, before I break something, let me come up here and show you, since it'll be a little easier. Gets fed, dispensed right into that water, so it doesn't backfeed. You gotta keep the dispenser full of empty bottles, which then gets sucked up by the hopper, the minecart hopper, which I had to put in. I originally tried to just do it with a waterlogged leaves, but it wasn't really the most accurate as to whether or not it would get sucked into the hopper below. It sometimes would shoot off to the side. You'd occasionally get like, yeah, misfires, I guess, where it wouldn't feed to feed into this dispenser, which then turns a dirt block into mud, like so. And then you just keep feeding this. After it feeds all the way to the end, shoots it onto there, and you can see that one turned into clay right away. And you can keep going until you pretty much I will probably have to light this up a little bit. When the last block gets here, it fires all the pistons, pushing all of these out. Then you can just keep feeding that until it's full. But since I don't have a lot of bottles, I do have to occasionally take them back out and refill it. You could probably do that automated. I do eventually plan on just filling that up so you don't have to stop as often. Alright, and now you can either just let this sit until all of this turns to clay, or, you can just mine it up right away. Now, if you don't want any clay, you just don't put the dripstone. You could even just have it floating, too, if you wanted to. I just find that it's a little easier to have a platform to walk on while you mine it. Now, make sure that this actually removes the empty bottles. We have it just set up to just like a standard item hopper, or item filter. Or we're just filtering out the empty bottles, making sure the full ones actually stay in there, which then just come down to our chest here. Now, I will say it is a bit tedious, and if you need large amounts, you need large amounts of mud, or clay for that matter. For clay, you're probably better off just finding a lush cave, and as far as mud, you just find like a mangrove swamp and just clean that out. But, I mean, if you only need like a couple of stacks, it's not a bad alternative, especially since for a mangrove swamp, I find myself having to go an absurd distance just to get what I need out of that. Our needs for mud right now aren't exactly grand. You should need a little bit of it because I want to mix this in with some. I'm going to make some packed mud, so we could start laying down our walkways. That's not just going to be straight packed mud. Yeah, considering I haven't found a mangrove swamp yet, and So far, it seems as though we're surrounded by a lot of colder biomes. I get the feeling we're going to have to go quite a ways to find one. So it's a good alternative for now. And I don't have that big of a need for clay at the moment anyway, so it's not that big a deal. And if I did start to need more, then we could certainly go look for that. And I do eventually want to get some mangrove wood, so we will have to go look for one eventually. However, today's not that day. I'm gonna probably start working on this back section here. I want to expand our little farming operation, build a house for a farmer. And I want to change out. I'm gonna knock down this section here. I'll terraform a little bit. I'm gonna add in a few more barns so we could finally do something about our other animals here, such as our sheep and our pigs. Get them a nice little home. They've been sitting outside a little too long. They deserve something nicer. Maybe turn this area. I'll get rid of these trees, and this will be our little farming section. And then after we get that all taken care of, we can start looking at other plans. But I think we're starting to near the end of how much farther we're going to expand this village, and then we can start walling off, and we can start freeing our. After we wall it off, then we can start freeing our villagers. Really start making this place feel alive. So I'm gonna go take care of that, and then I'll see you back after that. just did a whole bunch of building. We got our barns together, our farmhouse. We got a little farm. We even started working a little palisade and a gatehouse. We even got a storage shed. So just take you on a so I'll just take you on a grand tour here. We'll see. So obviously these are just fairly standard barns, holding our sheep, our pigs. I don't think I decorated it in here too much, but yeah, let's just say this is like a storage area for the farmer. Place for him to keep his tools, excess supplies, that sort of thing. And we come in here, and there's some parts I didn't decorate in here because I just want to get villagers in here beforehand. But I get a simple little kitchen. So, you get some more iron sinks missing. A simple little bedroom, and he's even got a little patio to hang out on. And nice, so he can keep a good eye on his field from afar without having to get too close to it. And then if we come over here, we got ourselves a little gatehouse, which, well, let me get around the other side. We come around here, we got ourselves a little gatehouse. Obviously, we still have to finish the other side of this fence, which, being the fact that it's day 300 now, and we're not getting to that side this episode. What? Yeah, we come inside our little gatehouse. Now, for now, this is just how I'm going to have to get in here. I will wind up hooking that up to some sticky pistons once I get my hands on some slime. That also gives, there is a little place for people to for them to shoot. Can you shoot out of those? I actually don't think so. Oh, no, you can't. Well, let's just say if they were, though, you could. Right? A little lookout area for the guards. We come up top. Got ourselves a little, what do they call it, parapet wall to hang out behind. Keep an eye on any coming unwanted peoples. And even get a decent view of the village from here. I might put another one of these over on the other side. Obviously not by the water, but maybe somewhere over here. I'm not entirely sure. I hadn't really considered all of that. And that's all I'm going to be able to do for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.